Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome. Hi Marco, which you have the bridge. So, man, this is episode 2 and I'm like as excited and I was like last week. In fact, lights on. Here we go. Boom. So, we're here. It's Modular Mondays and this is the second episode. We are going to venture deeper into modulars. We have no time to waste. Most of the crew is actually still in stasis. So they're kind of waking up or something. So we're kind of alone in the spaceship. This will happen pretty much all the time. And I was kind of trying to find the right mindset for when you start a stream and there's like, either one or two people or nobody. And it's really like the empty spaceship that has most of the crew just completely, asleep in their pods. And then whoever is out there, maybe it's an android, obviously. There. So there's no time to waste. This is Modular Mondays. Welcome, everyone. I know Marco's here. He's got the bridge. So bridge is going to be Marco today. And I was there last week as well. So I'm pretty confident that while he has the bridge, I can go and address other things, including the Nuendo session we have here. Last week, we did some sort of overview, right? We did something that was a little bit more like modular basics so that we could get everybody on the same page in terms of how you handle modules, how you patch stuff around, how you do things here, so on and so forth. But today, this week, it's a different story because I've started to get a vibe for all this, and I'm kind of knowing where I want to go, and there's gonna be things that we want to talk about in terms of how we develop the whole album thing, the whole of the playing of the effects, things like that. So I've loaded everything short of, pardon me, the avalanche run likes to start always. I don't know if this is like, what do I have in my eye today? I don't know if the avalanche run like to start up in bypass, so that's getting engaged, and that's pretty much the only thing I want to do in case we want to use real effects. That's gonna be a thing. Now this one I can close, and the other thing that I wanted to do is I have to handle this saving the episode 2. Okay, this is important, so I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna call these actually it 2. Simple as that. And I want to reopen the other one. Actually, I want to do this. Hold on just for a second. This, erase that modular 2 and enable modular 1. It will make sense in a second. Worry not. Okay. This is not what I had. I mean, yes, but this one, it's the same thing. Okay, but it's got like kind of a different thing. Okay, so that's the patch we did for episode 1, and I want to save this. Okay, we got it. I'm just addressing basic stuff. No worries, take your time to do everything, anything you need to do, things like that. I'm just dealing with minor routing things or like saving around, because as I told you, I have that episode 2 that we're going to recover in a second, in which I started to work on the BUCHLAs, just experimenting with it. Those things be wild. Have you ever worked on the BUCHLA oscillators crew? It's insane. They're really unconventional, and it's where I kind of want to do the thing. It's one of the sound scenarios that we really want to address. So I'm reloading the session, and then we'll start. I hope you had a fantastic weekend, everybody. I really do, because weekends are the life of sometimes things we cannot do because of work, oftentimes with our loved ones or our passion, if it's music / work / something you love plus something you get money from. And usually, why is this? Oh, I know why. Well, it doesn't matter. So it's nice to take a break from production, and weekends are kind of nice unless you're really, really tight on how things are working. So we're here. It's episode 2, Modular Mondays. Today we work on Modular Mondays episode 2, the session. Yeah. And we have to address, I'm getting Marco from the bridge who says, looks like it's super heavy on the CPU. It is super heavy on the CPU, okay? So here's what I've done. Let me ditch modular, it's inactive. Modular 01 is what we did in episode 1. I created that surface outpost factory, sector 41C. It's kind of a nice, noisy environment, things like that. But I worked on something that is modular 02. Let me show you, okay? 02. And this is, I'm gonna make myself as usual a little bit smaller. This is the patch that I was working on, okay? So, yes, it's heavy, but it isn't that insane. But SoftTube Modular doesn't mess around, okay? So, we need to get to the reactor room, and we need to kind of unplug and swap cables around live while the spaceship's going, okay? Which is going to be our buffer size. Right now, I'm on standard streaming mode on the Auroras, and I'm on 512, okay? I am telling you, this thing eats CPUs for breakfast. So the way we have to work is, first and foremost, I will bump the buffer size, and I am telling you, I will try and work at 8,192, okay? 8192 samples. Now, it is dangerous, and some audio cards do not allow you to go to over 4,096 samples. Sometimes it's 495. It used to be the old Pro Tools TDM. I am thinking, because I've tried it, that unless I go 8,192, that session there will not work. Granted, there are plugins that I have, okay? So let's do this. The problem with ASIO buffer size, ASIO audio buffer sizes, that's what I wanted to say, is that they sometimes have an influence on the timing of your MIDI and DAW messages, kind of, usually MIDI. The MIDI data is what gets broken the most, but the timing factor kind of gets lost. So let's start with this one. Let's try that, okay? So what is this patch about? I will lower, it isn't done, but we have to deal with what the scanners found. Let me see where we are. And I have so much to talk about in this stream that is gonna decide the course of action for our future explorations. It's unbelievable, okay? So you see here, I have this fader, and then I have some effects here: factory, shimmer, Faris, and black hole. Okay. Marco says, doesn't Nuendo also have dropout protection functions like Studio One? It does. In fact, this is probably something we should work with. If I go here and I open this and I keep it bottom right, for example, we will be able to say, is it broken? Is it going? This is now 8,000. I cannot believe that this is now still peaking that way. There is no way at 8,192 samples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable this instance and redo it and enable it again. Okay, maybe it will. I have no idea. Legit, this is the same deal as before. Okay, same deal. So yes, my system, just for those of you who are wondering, is 9700K that I haven't overclocked. I had some fun initially, but it's stable. 64 gigabytes of RAM. but it's an i7 97K stock, okay? Water cooled, all that stuff, but that's what you're seeing here. Now, granted, I do have a lot of inserts, and I have, for example, Reason. I have lots of plugins here for effects. We could try and kind of lower all of these. As I understand, you're thinking maybe that's not fair because of what we have. We do have some mix bus action going on, as some people might say, but it's Mac DSPs, it's the Soundtech, it's the, let me see how much the Soundtech's taking away. Not that much, honestly. Everything else is kind of there. So I'm thinking it might really be modular. Okay, so let's try that. Let's try Reason, the DZ, for example. Okay. What? Okay, here we go. So usually when I was like, yeah, okay, we found the culprit of it. No. You see, it's not really that. I am not even bothering with the effects. I'm gonna go to what this is all about. When you're creating a patch in one instance, you're probably asking your system here. Let me see the cores. This is kind of important, I think. Let me do always on top, probably. Can I? No. Yes. Can we put it always on top? It should be. Oh no, unbelievable. No, it's impossible. It used to be like that. Anyway, CPU, here's what's happening, and you can see that. You cannot see that because there's my face on it, but now you can see that. We've got CPU 0 completely maxed out, and the other cores are not even working, okay? So if we take modular and we disable this track, look at the resources right now. Look at that CPU 0. Look how down there it is. Okay? So here's my thinking. Okay? These, like, we're fixing the spaceship as we're traveling, okay? That's dangerous stuff. But the core reactors of our space drive clearly indicate that one instance of Softube Modular drives the CPU as much as it can, and it does not spill over other CPUs. So it is not multi-core in one instance. Okay? And that's fact. We just proved that. We did just prove that. What I want to do is this is 8,192, okay? This is we're off the charts. Let me just verify that I did it. I did. Okay? Okay. 48 kilohertz, blah blah blah. Nice. Let me hide the inserts so I have the sense. I will show you what this patch kind of sounded like, and then I need to break it in two. This is important. First and foremost, enough of these. Let's hear how this sounds, okay? I'm gonna drop these up, and then I had Shimmer, I had Faris, and I had Black Hole, which is the plugin, is not the pedal, okay? We could save some resources using my real pedals, which I'm thinking for the album will do, just because the way I have them, they sound unbelievably good, and we can tweak them around and save presets for modular. But this is all software. Don't worry, it's not that bad. So let's feel how this is. Let me move these a little bit here, and let me do this, and let's do this. So the mixer is where I'll kind of work things out. I have no recollection of what this sounds like. Oh, it sounds like nothing. The reason why it sounds like nothing is that we're not going around with the actual bars. This needs to stay at bar, like it needs to be looping. Okay, so bar 1, go. Okay, can't hear anything, obviously. Okay, so it works. It's not clicking that I can hear, but it's completely crushing everything here. Or it is a little bit, but that's maybe saturation involved. See, this is playing here, which is this guy. This one here. Awesome. So the BUCHLA isn't playing as I remember it would do, but we need to split this. I want to keep that bass somewhere, and I want to do the BUCHLAs differently. Okay, but just so we understood, this is not working because it's really heavy for the patch that it is. My idea for the album would be this: we are going to get 1 or 2 control surfaces, and I'm going to map the controls of those control surfaces, which I hope they're going to be the novations. Oh, you heard nothing. That's very good. Okay, let me try that. Probably because of this. Right on. Let me load Sonobus. Thanks, Bridge. That's how it needs to be. Right. Here we go. Let me connect here to my group. Does it work? Yep. Off we go. Okay, so the patch sounds like this. Okay, so what we've been hearing is, well, there's some clicking involved that I can hear. The whole patch, see how it's fading around in the distance. You got the panning right, everything's right. It's just that the CPU is completely maxed out because of one instance. So the way I would like to handle these for the album would be this. I would like to have 2 control surfaces, or 1, but I think 2. I hope they're gonna be Novation. That whose knobs I'm gonna use to control things in modular patches. But we need to split things around because there is no way we can handle one patch for one track. There's no way, because in my opinion, there's no option so far to tell Softube Modular to use more cores for one instance. They want to do single core per instance. So I have most of the cores empty, and I have 1 core maxing out because it's just one busy instance in its opinion. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to split this patch so that we at least have that bass that goes on that I would like to save, to kind of like extract, and then we are going to work on the BUCHLAs. And then all in all, what eventually I'll do is that because I have 2 control surfaces, it doesn't really matter how many instances of Softube Modular we have, but I want to design usually tracks with 4 instances of modular: drums, bass, and 2 sort of like harmonies or melodies or weird stuff, things like that. Does it make sense to you, crew? Because I think that would work, right? We don't need to use all of them, but that'd be nice. And the 2 control surfaces with their knobs and faders will control, for example, the volumes of the drums, the filters on the kicks, the global low pass on the whole drums or bass and resonance. We're gonna have tons of knobs that I know, whose functions I'll know, that I'll tweak around. And I'm thinking this is how we'll build the album, and it will be 100% live, even if they're split into different sections, like instances. I can print stems, and having stems being print, I could do these with the extra outputs, but having stems being print will allow me to get the tracks, the stems, to other things. I want to import those tracks in the Amiga, and I want to import those tracks into an Aural 3D card that I have for a 486, and we're gonna make weird formats out of that. The Amiga itself alone is going to sample this stuff, and I have no idea what will come out of this. So you should subscribe, you should like, you should turn the bell on, whatever that bell is, notifications, everything. Like, you should be waking up in the middle of the night by virtual me that goes like, yo, dude, I have an idea. And I'm like, just shut up. Something like that. It needs to be that level of insanity, because this spaceship will probably, test our nerves for sure. So, again, while Mark is at the bridge and we're going, we, the crew, whoever's here, defrosting, feeling dizzy from cryostasis and stuff, we need to split these organisms in two. So we gotta get to the biolabs right now. I'm gonna actually disable these and duplicate it. Okay, and we call these Elementor. Elementor. And I said 4. I think 4. Do you see why I think 4? Because of the old 4-track stuff. The thing just came up on its own. Modular life, people. This is insane. All right, so we gotta split this. Let's split this. I'm gonna teach you how to split this and keep the whole thing alive. It's gonna be weird. The monument is the source of our bass, and I'm thinking it gets triggered, gate and node by the pentasequenza, and then it's going out to these places here, to the DVCAs, to the dual VCAs, and then it's also getting split here in the audio mix, and it's also going here. So I know for sure that I don't need the Kergasmatron. I'm thinking, right? I don't. No, I do. See? No. Do I? No. Because you can erase modules, but if you do it, it's bad if things don't work. So the sequencer 16 is going here. The monument filter, why are we not using the monument? Where's the monument going to? Oh no, that's a dual gain, sorry. Okay, so this goes to here. Okay, the input is the output here. Okay, so we need the monument filter as well. We're gonna keep the audio mix. The top part I'm not gonna change or touch because these two don't matter. I'm thinking what we can destroy is the BUCHLA. There's undos. Why am I bothering so much? You see those two things there? These are undos and redos. So we go move, delete, ciao. And everything related to it has died, but it's okay. And I'm thinking the pentasequence as well, the sequencer 16 cannot. Let me see if I can get things in view a little bit. Let me move this guy up here. So it goes offset here, and it's not going out to anything. Okay, the gates are going here. The output is this CV in. The input of the VCA is this. Okay, I think we do actually need this. We haven't cut a lot of that out. Okay, let's play this track and hear what is happening. Okay, so this is working. I love how this is telling me which effects are kind of problematic. No, the Asiogard. I mean, everything's working. It's kind of a scary light, but so we got that. I'm thinking the sequencer can also go. Trigger out goes here. The trigger goes here. The output of these goes to the CV in, which is true that it's getting the mix. And the output is going there. So if we close everything here, the sequencer cannot go. But the rhythm can. There's no outputs. Okay, this guy can go. All right, we did one more step. It hasn't lowered itself. I mean, a little bit. Is Monument so part? What is the source of all evil here? So Monument's first, for sure. Then we've got our Kurgasmatron. And we've got the source monument and the filter monument will go here. Then we have our dual gain. Actually, I'm gonna keep the dual gain here, the pentasequencer here, the offset here, and the sequencer 16 here. That's pretty good. Okay, so how about that? So this one's not doing anything, which is the input 1, which is the output of this VCA, whose input is the mix of the Kurgasmatron, but it's got no inputs. Awesome, so the Kurgasmatron can go. Okay, then these can go here, the offset can go here, the pentasequencer can go here, and the dual gain can go here. Alright. The normal Monumental plugin is very okay. The Monument plugin is CPU heavy, says Marco from the bridge. Is it? Because I haven't used Monument outside of this environment. So it seems simple. It's two sources being blended. There's some analog dirt. Okay, that could be an effect. And then there's a filter. It doesn't look as scary, right? But it could be. In Modular, I think that the sequencers and the offsets, not the offsets, but the pentasequence and the sequencer 16 could be pretty heavy. But that's where we are. Okay, so how about we try and mix this? So that's the in of this guy. We no longer have an input. We can clean this guy out. And then we've got these outputs, which is these. Okay, this is going here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the output of this guy, which is going straight in here, see? And we're going to move it to the right here. Because this is our right channel, audio mix, and this is our left channel. The left audio mix is going to be left, and the right audio mix is going to be right. So this instead, the left channel of, that's the input. This is not a stereo thing. It's going here. So let's do this, so that we have both, and we can do a mono signal here, or shift it if we want. So now Monument filter is going straight out, but then we've got a secondary thing, which is the Monument source. Okay, so we're gonna do it like this. The filter is gonna be 2, and the 1 is gonna be the unfiltered. All right, so this is right. Okay, and we don't need to duplicate that. We're sending this guy out here. Okay, so what if we play this? It plays. That's good. What about the second layer, which is the filtered one? See, this is no longer just bass, but it's good. So I think I had some other outputs though. These are dual gains that are going out to limit the leeway of this guy here. Well, no, the other one was the actual BUCHLA. So this is pretty much done. But where do the gates out go here? Trigger out and go here. The output of this is regulating this, but this one's actually not doing anything. So we could destroy this, and take the sequencer 16 out as well, because the CV is the only thing that's going to the offset, which is not doing anything. So these two are not necessary. That's our sequence here. Boom, which would allow me to bring these back, because I kind of hate to have them all the way there. Boom. Should sound exactly the same. The clicks I hear, I'm thinking it could be more of the envelopes being kind of fast or the releases being 0. I don't think this is really, there's no dropout reported, so there's no way that we're crashing it. And I'm keeping a loop of 64 bars so that I have some kind of clock to send it without having this. Okay, so the MIDI to trigger isn't done. Okay, so this is good. Let me save this before we make any issue. I'm gonna call this Monument. Actually, okay. Probably the nomenclature should be episode 2 with the 0. Monument 01, whatever. V1, Monumentor V1, or Monumentor A. Man, I now want a different name. Monumentor A. Rename. So we do Modular Mondays episode 2, Monumentor 8. So this is a Monumentor. It's just gonna tell me that it's probably bass. We can give it a category, I think, something like that. So this is good. And we dropped a little bit. Okay. I'm thinking this is fine. It sounds bad to say it that way, but it actually kind of is. So let me drop this, and this is, we say Monumentor A, okay? And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna instantiate another modular. It's gonna be gonna go to all mix. No, to mix, sorry. There's no all mix. Mix A, and we call it modular 03. Okay. If we work on this modular instance, it will actually not freak out as much because the other core is gonna work, and I don't think Cubase is gonna actually, Nuendo is actually gonna give us a very hard time, at least. So we have our startup. I have pretty much everything there. I'm thinking I want to do this. If we keep things in two rows, we should be safe. If we start venturing to row 3, I'm thinking there will be no way the computer can handle that. So this is going to be left channel, this is going to be right channel. This is all the LFOs, ADSRs, VCAs, noise, ring modulator. The top row is going to stay. What I want to venture in is, let me deal, I said BUCHLA, but do we want to do that? Yeah, we should do that for sure. We should do this. I would like to do something textury with the 259E twisted waveform and the spectral processor. It's gonna be tough. Let's do it. Okay. And it's gonna be tough, I'm telling you. Let's try things out first. I don't know if you know how these work. I certainly don't. So, do we want to put some wood panel in here? It's gonna make us feel better. I would like to not use filters the conventional way. So let's see where we end up with. I think we also need some kind of sequencer. So I am going to this is another kind of discussion for some other time. I don't want to play stuff. I already said that, right? So let me do 8. Let me open some gate here and here and here and here. Or maybe not, just on one, because we're gonna probably go for longer notes. So we're gonna clock it, and I'm gonna clock it in quarter notes, maybe not. Then I'm going to reset here, and I'm going to gate out and trigger out. At first, you know what I want to do? I just want to send stuff around. Let's try and do this. Okay, so we got the outputs. There's mod outputs and there's principal outputs. If we do this, how come this is not working? Impossible. Where is this going? Hold on. Copy, paste. I want to paste the effects. There is no way this guy isn't working. Okay, do I need to send it out? No. Okay, that's our effect. That's all good. There is absolutely no way. So by default, these don't play. They need CV in. I cannot believe this to be true. No way. I'm sure this is the output. We're gonna do left and right. There's no way. No, I hear something. I do hear me something. Okay. That's good. That's sounding pretty good. Okay, so I can hear it click. So now I wanna try and understand if it's this. Okay, let me disable the monumental. Monumental. I like all those names, but they're not the right ones. Let me try that again. Here. Okay. Let me get rid of this. Okay. What if we take one oscillator, which we don't have, from here, and we go like this? Because the CPU isn't... Is it maxing out? It is maxing out. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try the VCOs here. And let's try and do just this. This isn't clicking. So it's the BUCHLA doing whatever morphing or modulation's doing. Okay, we're good. Okay, so let me load the shimmer again, the black hole, and let me patch these again in. Okay. This sounds beautiful. This is like a sort of like a binary star kind of thing. Let's put this simple as that into this modulator. You hear what it's doing? It's morphing that, right? It's the principal oscillator morph CV. And that's the warp. Now let's try what the warp does. I'm gonna move it to 0 so we have no modulation, but we're set, right, crew? So the control set, the LFO is set to control the morphing knob, is if I were doing this manually very slowly, but our CV offset, like the window, how do we call that? I'm calling it the window. The intensity on Korgs, that's intensity, is set to 0, so it's not gonna modulate. And this way we can kind of get a vibe for what it does. Now I'm gonna try warp. It's not really warping a lot, but let me try that. Hold on. So I still hear it kind of glitch, right? Let me try and erase the module. Let's see if that's a CPU thing. No, no, no. I'm thinking that's the actual... I'm undoing. It works. Okay, it's such a beautiful sound. I could stay here hours. In fact, we're gonna do that. So we're pitching. The mod type is pitching. We don't want to pitch it. Let's try and see morphing through modulation. But for now, I like the warp. Let me try and work with the timbre. So that's a principal oscillator. What is this? 2? That's 1. Okay. 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4. Okay, so we had 1, 2. Remember that. Otherwise, we forget. Here, how nice this thing is. BUCHLA doesn't want to go for simple, for sure. So, okay. That is absolutely without morphing and without warping. I really like these, though. I think this has an amazing vibe. So we should go with this. It's a 236.9. Doesn't matter. Let me try that. That is the MEMS Q. This is the principal FM. Okay, let's try and FM these with a sine into this. See where we go here. I'm loving this. So now the VCO's sine wave from the Doepfer 110 Doepfer is going into the FM of the principal oscillator. Okay, now I love this and I want to have it move a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna mute the volume so it's faster. I can talk and just patch. You know what I want to do, however? I want to kind of have a CV mixer. Here's what we're gonna do. I hope it does what I think it will do. Let me move these down here. These up here. I already told you once we get to the third slot, things are bad. Are good, but also bad. So let me try this guy here with the CV mix. So I want to mix this LFO to the noise. I want to kind of make it the sine wave irregular. This is one of the simplest ways because then we're going to feed the result of this CV mix to what we had, to the morph modulation. So I'm going to take random output and I'm going to put it to 2. And let me just see, let's hear what just the noise would do. Okay, so it's doing what I want. It's just that we're very subtle, but this is good. This is good. So the rate's gotta be slower and the level's gonna be, I don't know, maybe here. But then we also send this guy to 1.0. That's what we liked. We're just gonna use this secondary to kind of make things a little bit more unpredictable, non-linear somehow, because that's a sine wave otherwise. Okay, here. Okay, now I'm gonna try and get something out as well, and then I'll tell you what, if it works, you'll see that. Let's do it here as well. Okay, these I don't quite like. So let me do something else. Let me send it somewhere else. Okay, and I'm loving these, but now I want to get into maybe the morphing as well. Let me see how the controls work. I'm exploring these with you. Like the 259's got so much, but I don't want to play it. So we have to kind of come up with some stuff first, and then it can play the notes. Man, this has so much vibe. I like this. Now, if we take the outputs of this and we send it to the spectral, we don't even need these sequencers to do anything yet. Let me just try, before we start having it move and do things, let me see how the spectral plays a role here. So as far as I remember, it's got A levels and B levels. That's good, okay. So I can design something like this for B levels, something like this. But for now, let's stay on A levels, and let me just take the outputs of these and send it into the inputs of this guy. And then we take, actually, yes, and then we do this for now, okay? So the other input is gonna go here, and the output, so now we're using this as a filter. I would love to use this as a filter, and I'm gonna do the odd. I'm actually gonna do the all on both, just so that we kind of keep not odd even. But the signals we're gonna do this way. I have no idea how this is gonna sound. Should actually play already, yes. And this is what I would like to design. I would like to just have one setup where we have this interesting kind of scenario generator. It's kind of the atmospheric part, and that's going to be the BUCHLAs in tandem like this. Pretty simple so far. We can take so many things out, but let's try that. I mean, come on. These I'd love to buy and have real. These two, the spectral processor, this guy here, it's just unbelievable. So let's stay on one for now because this is just getting completely spacing out. I like where this is going. I want to try and not modulate things at first. I just want to try and modulate some of the steps actually. Let's see if this works now with two instances. You see how just by handling these two instances, number one, they're not clicking, they're not completely destroying the computer, and you would have never run both of them together. But also we've got bass and we've got atmospherics now. Okay, so this is good, and this would be how I would like to kind of handle things. They can get a little bit more complicated, but for example, this is a monument source plus filter plus the pentasequenza. It's kind of nice. Maybe I don't need always 5 steps. I could go 4. I could get the 16 in there, but it's kind of a good system, and I can concentrate on the other one, on the other instance, and the first one doesn't really break things around. That's really good. So I'm gonna keep spacing out. You just watch out of the windows for deep space reconnaissance. Beautiful that I can use that VCO to kind of decide on the skew, on the FM values and stuff that we are getting into. That's our modulator, right? The VCO that goes into the principal VC, the oscillator of the BUCHLA, and we can just use the range to get completely different vibes. And again, I'm not playing it. I must not play stuff for now. Because if I keep using my hands on the keyboard, then we come up with all sorts of, oh, this is nice, this is insane, this is good. Because because I'm amazing, obviously, but also for other reasons. But I just want to hear the texture of where this is going. So again, I'm gonna space out. Ciao. This is so beautiful. I'm putting it into a delay. Let's hope for the best. I should use the volante here though. You gotta be tolerant with me. We're going into the volante. I need to hear it because I know exactly the program it has. Okay, hold on, because I need to verify if everything's patched out. We need to hear this. We need to. Where's the insert at? Here? Should be running. We're lucky that it doesn't. Though, hold on. It should get out there. Right? But obviously if it is playing. Why can't I hear that though? It's not here. Okay. No input. There we go. Okay. Fixing this. Hold on. No input? No, it should work. Right. Are we doing this here or here? No, we're doing it here. So is it still doing that? Hold on. Is it? Who's doing this? Who's coming out of here though? Wait, what? Is that the pedal? No? Yes? Tubas, what are you doing? Okay, well that should be happening though. Oh yeah, I see what it's happening. Okay, let me see here if we add this 2-bus return on 16, 15, 16 right here, right now. Okay, let me try this. I think we just glitched the clock and that's what was working. There we go. That's not what we want though. So that's kind of weird though. That should not see, this, for example, is it gonna redo it? But why? Is it this? No, it's this one. Why is he doing that? It's the 1, 2. No, that's not it. Why am I getting that though? From 1, 2. No, that shouldn't be happening though. And it still redoes it. But if I think this is a bug of sorts, and it keeps doing it. There's what? I have nothing that is doing that though. This is on 1, 2. There is absolutely nothing on 1, 2 that is doing that. So what? Nope. Let me probably try that. No. It's not the pedals as well. No. It's probably the buffer of this thing. Let me see. I don't want to talk because if I talk, and it's gonna do it. So this is exactly what I was talking about. You see what happened? Now I'm thinking if I restart the pedals, it's not gonna give us any problem. Yes, I'm not syncing to the modular the tempo that we have. We do have the 98, it's kind of pulsating, but we're not necessarily sending that. But that shouldn't have happened. And I couldn't identify what it was because there's nothing that ever has ever done that to me. And that's the 8,192. The system has such a buffer size that it becomes unstable, especially for real-time processing going through the pedals. So I backed it off at 2048, which I think is the safest I've ever run. So, all right. So we go back to where we were, and we're taking this, the modular this, and we're going to do, let me just take, not the volante here for now. Let me just keep these open, move these right next to it. Let's go at it again. What I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of slowly modulate the low. I forgot what I wanted to do. But okay, I get it. So I'm back. Okay, now we get the bass in, just for reference, just to see if the two things are crashing each other. Okay, so we got it. Like we got into a sector where we really have to keep watching for the asteroid. There's something super weird in the space-time continuum of where we dropped in. But man, I'm giving you the title for this. Hold on. I'm not giving you the title yet. I do have it though. This is so, I am not gonna say yet, okay? But I have chills from what the BUCHLAs do. I am getting real ones. There's just can I do it? Can I do it? I mean, these two are one thing. So we ventured there, and what? Come on. I want to design because I'm kind of on a kick here. This is gonna be modular 3. This is gonna be our book list. This is the name. That's the name. This is gonna be our book list. But we are going to enter another one. That's our modular 4. And that's hard beat. Okay, so I want drums. I want to get a vibe for how the drums are gonna be in something like this, where there seems to be no reference to. See, there's no pulse, there's no envelope so much on the BUCHLA. That's how I like it. I want to try and get these to heartbeat the heck out of things. Hold on. Let me do this. Copy. We do paste. We probably don't want the shimmer here. A little bit of Faris, maybe black hole. I still don't know. But this guy has to be a little bit higher in volume, and we want to get the heartbeats in. So this is gonna be our drums. Okay. Have you ever used Crew, the heartbeat thing? It's probably one of my favorite non-hardware drum machines sources ever. Like, this thing is just unbelievable. So I'm gonna load one bass drum, two bass drum, one clap, drum rim shot, hi-hat, percussion cymbal. An EQ? No. For now. Let's load these and see where we go, although I don't want the whole plethora of things here. And we're gonna take a beat sequencer. We're gonna put it right here so nobody bothers it. And let me patch things around. We have one that's gonna be our kick, and then wait, what? Yes, of course, because I'm going in. So this is gonna be trigger here. Then the second one's gonna be no. Hold on. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get a delay. No, we need to get another beat sequencer. I know this is how it's gonna go down. I know there's ways to do this differently, but no. I want to have the kicks here. Man, this is gonna be intense. The cymbals, the claps, the hats. No, there's no room. Let me do this. I want the sequencers to be here. One sequencer is gonna be kicks, because I tend to never use or kind of not like cymbals a lot. But why do I care if I have I have 4 outs? All right, so I'm like fear of missing out in module land. So we're gonna send it 16 notes with reset. So this is gonna be our 16 notes. Length is gonna be 16. It's gonna loop. We're gonna link these. Can you link these to clock in here? Why does it ever work? How are you supposed to use the link? I'm horrible at this. Anyway, this is still gonna be a 16th. This is still gonna reset. Okay. And if I stop and restart, yeah, they're in sync. Awesome. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I'm gonna go like this. And we're gonna take the out of these and we're gonna go to the trigger here and we're gonna take 2 and this is gonna be our second kick. Trust me. Let me see how this works. We're gonna take the output of this guy, we're gonna drop it into 1. Why is he delaying? Oh, right. You shouldn't do that. That's horrible. Let me see if it's quarter notes first. Why is it releasing? It shouldn't, right? Should it? I mean, I don't dislike that, but oh, wait. Wait. No. Why does it release? No, come on, why? I absolutely love these. I have no idea why it's doing that. Why is it releasing? Why is he doing that? Oh, maybe... No, come on. Why is he playing it twice? Maybe I don't need to reset? That doesn't make sense. Oh, it's doing note up and note down? Is it possible? That's a new thing, though. Let me send 3 for CV. Actually, 2 for CV. It will not make any sense. In fact. No, that's impossible. No. There has to be a... Why? Oh, right, because it... No, come on. That's not possible. Should it do that? No, it shouldn't. Just because it's sequencing? It's getting clock there. It's playing. What's the problem with it? That's 0, 0, 0. That's clocked. That's looped. Does the penta sequence do that as well? Probably, right? Let's try that. We're gonna design the drums and then we're gonna survive this. Just hold on. No, I want 16s here as well. And then I'm gonna go, because it's a trigger. Not because it's not, it's a trigger so it goes back and forth. That's gonna be the same thing. Let's try that. Okay, now it's going. There is no way this is happening. Which is beautiful, but that's not what I want. Okay, CV out's gonna be the pitch. which actually doesn't seem to matter. Why? Okay, let's do this. I absolutely love what it's doing, but I want this to just, what if I send it a VC, like an LFO instead? I send it 16 notes here to reset, and I just go square. It's still doing that. Why is it bouncing back? There is no sense, there is no inserts. What? It cannot be happening. This cannot have a release on note off. There's just no way. It's never done that. Absolutely. Absolutely ever. So, is this getting sound here? Let me try the bass station. Okay, this is getting this. Let me try note to trigger. Okay, it isn't doing that. Trigger to trigger. It's doing it twice. All right. Okay, we work like that. No problem. So we're not gonna use this. We're gonna take that trigger. Okay. So this it completely baffled me. So let's restart where we were. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because that's the full thing of how it comes out. I have no memory of it doing this, by all means. So we want 16 notes to go, not here. We want 16 notes to go in here, and we want the reset to go here, okay? But the output of that kick is going to go into the first VCA here, in, and it's gonna get out of here into the audio mix. And we're probably gonna repeat that because I want a mono center signal. Now this is gonna get the CV from our first ADSR, right output here. And we're gonna utilize this to shape the kick. Simple as that. So this is gonna get gated in the same pattern that is going to get to the trigger point right here. The pitch we're not gonna touch, so CV isn't really necessary. So let's try this. Oh, okay. See where we are. Why hasn't it worked? Okay. Exponential. Is it? Is it happening? No. Why? Because it's too short. I'm thinking. Retrigger. We gotta retrigger this. Right? No? Right. So now it's not. What? Come on. What's the worst that could happen? That it's just not gonna work. It's actually happening right now. This is not. Oh, wait. Why isn't this? Because it's my bad. 16th playing. Okay, go back to bar 1. Okay, go. Okay, we got it. Okay. But it's not looping. Right, loop. There we go. Now this should close. But it's still doing that. No, there is something that there's a delay here. Going nuts over it. There is there's no way. There's there's something doing that. Which by the way, I kind of like that, but I want to be in control of why that is happening. Let's do that. See, this is why it's freaking me out. That's not what should happen. Isn't it crazy? We got it working. Why isn't it sending? Now it's coming out. There is no way that that can happen. See, I'm thinking it's gotta be... There is no way. There is absolutely no way. Like, this has to close. Okay, I can hear it kind of being slanted, but this has to work. There is no way. There is no way. Like, the trigger has to go here for retriggering, and then the gate is getting gated by the actual trigger here. No, it's actually gonna go here. That's how it's gonna go down. And it's gonna play that. So I can't do this. It would be much easier to play, but I want to sequence that. So is this going in? No, come on. Okay. Well, we're gonna deal with the drums later on. There's no other way. This is probably user error somehow. So let's focus on this book list for now. I would like to have it so that there's kind of some notes around here. So I'm probably gonna utilize that other. I'm thinking the same oscillator, but maybe the square wave. Where could we put the square wave in? We could put it into, well, those are envelope outputs. That's not too bad. That's the outputs for odd and even. That's the pulse in. I think I need another filter though. I don't want to do it with the filter though. So let me try and find another way to introduce some kind of additional texture of sound. Maybe with another sequencer. I'm gonna do that way. Okay. So I'm gonna bring it up and then I'm gonna fiddle with that. it's beautiful, but this is like we are sending it random outputs. Here, the CVs are, let me try with the gate. Maybe this is not as high as I wanted that. Or maybe it's because we are on this. Let me see what this does if I turn it on. There's kind of an harmonic that I want that I'm not hearing. Okay, I'm liking these a lot, but I kind of like where it was before as well. And I think what I did as a mistake was not saving this, so we're gonna go back with undos and I'm gonna save it. Keep undoing, keep going. It's before I had the sequencer there. Will we have enough? No, don't worry, I can backtrack myself. Let's see how many steps this thing has. An undo history would be fine. And I learned my lesson, I have to save the patches as we go. So that when I hit a milestone, I go save, which I didn't do. There seems to be plenty of undos though. So I keep going. Is it working? Yes, it is. It is. No? I think it is undoing. Let me double check. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Is this on the 16th? Yes. So this is the patch I wanted. Cool. See how beautiful that is, that we can actually use, again, I said it, I'm gonna say it again, we can use the range of that oscillator to really decide whether we wanna get into kind of a swampy thing or more into kind of a higher pad. And I'm using a VCA with an envelope, but it's just like floating because of the spectral processor, which is what I really like, and it's not a subtractive synthesis patch by all means. So I'm gonna keep going just a little bit more. have no idea what's going on. This is amazing. What? Like it completely awoke. Hi Marco, take care. I'm gonna finalize this, and I'm just gonna wrap it up. Absolutely. So you can get into cryostasis again. Almost done. I wanna reset this. Let me just check where we were. Here, the book list A, and then I kind of have the BUCHLA sound that I wanted to get in a package of things that work. But just a second, so I will fix that. This is unbelievable. I love this, but it's not exactly what I want it to do. Revert changes. What if we were to use an envelope right for the source before getting the signals in? So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go like 8 notes on it. Or maybe I'll go gate out here, and then I'll take that gate. I'm gonna go trigger out to kind of re-trigger it and use the output of these for actually those two. I'm thinking, no, sorry, for this VCA and this thing, we're gonna take the signals in are gonna go into the inputs, the outputs into the signals in. So that we should have some kind of envelope, obviously, which I'm curious to see how it's gonna react. We didn't have one, we can always bypass that, but it could work. No, hold on. I did a wrong move. Okay, here, this one. Is it this output? Yes. Okay, let me play this again. I think it opened a whole new level of thing just because it's so pulsating now. And if we get back to this one, then it's the same because we're not using the ADSR, we're just going the gain up, just gaining up. So that's I could save this as a variation like A2. Okay, I'm saving this for sure. Me too. All right. So on the notes of this, I think what we got here is that number one, the CPUs will handle it unless we keep things into a single instance, which would be amazing to have a single patch, but that's not how I want it to do because the computer is just going to explode. But it also allows me to do some stemming and different effect routing that I could do with the aux outputs, but I will actually not be afraid of just splitting things. And with the control surfaces that I want to get, we are going to get into having different patches that are still unified by having the control surfaces, knobs, and faders deal with the atmospherics of stuff. So we designed a Monumentor, which is our bass, sort of like, or a pulsating bass. We designed our BUCHLA, which is this atmospheric kind of vibrator that has its ADSR if you want to use that. Otherwise, it doesn't. The 2A is kind of a little bit here and there. The A is more atmospherics. And then I started with the heartbeat, but for the life of me, I cannot understand why it didn't have the two triggers, and now it does, which is nice, but I would like to have a sort of a delay that is synced to have that kind of rebound, which I usually do with the second kick, with kick 2. So next episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the heartbeat locked in so that we are adding our fourth element, which is actually the third element, which is the heartbeat, given like the drums or the pulse that will give us the rhythmic elements. So next Monday, it's gonna be heartbeat or drums, more into these atmospherics. And we're also gonna design the melody probably, because we have the Monumentor, which could be bass. We have the BUCHLA, which is a droning thing. We have the heartbeat. We're gonna have the heartbeat, which is drums. And then we are going to have the melody itself. And I would like to I'm thinking either I'm going to play those parts and have arpeggios, or we are going to use stepping, okay? For next week, or maybe in 2 episodes, we are going to have stepping as well, just because the drones are nice, but what if we want to structure things in a way that will behave? I hope in the next episodes to have sorted out the control surfaces, because these 4 instances will be always changing, of course, but I'm thinking they will become the way I trigger and change the patches through the control surfaces so that we can play and get different sounds, okay? This is definitely a swampy planet that we landed on, and it's just an alien kind of swamp jungle environment. It has that. There's kind of a froggy sound from this patch that I absolutely love. They will be available on Patreon in the Modular Monday patches. I'm gonna give you the Monumentor A, the book list A1 and A2, and then there's gonna be audio demos to kind of showcase what they do. As usual, make sure you check my Patreon out, and if you want to support Modular Mondays with the record that it's going to become, the versions for Mastodon / Amiga 1200 Retro and the 486 PCs, they're gonna be all messed up into this project. So if you want to know more about it, go on my Patreon. The links are down below. We're gonna see each other soon, which is next week. But remember, we have Thursday, in which we're doing the Thursday Mixdown. The Thursday Mixdown is where I take tracks and mix them. And this is just mixing. We're gonna have Drew again with probably a different song. I'm gonna kind of surprise you with a new thing, and we are going to find out obviously more about plugins and things like that, which we're also gonna face eventually in here. But I kind of like the template where it is. It's more about sounds. All right, so Thursday for the next live event, and for the rest, everything Modular Mondays is on my Patreon. Please take a look at it. It's gonna be a cool project. Join me for making these a Bandcamp album that then game developers can use in their video games, okay, for free, just because I would be happy to donate them. So just get in touch if you want. Take care. See you soon. Ciao.